today's episode, The Body Time Bomb, we're going to be discussing, is there a right time to have children? Should you use fertility treatment or adopt? So many questions to ask on this topic, and we're going to be discussing it, so have a look at what's coming up. So I'm not going to be discussing this topic all by myself. Oh no, I have a wonderful panel here with me of my beautiful co-presenters. I've got the good-humoured Gemma.
Hi.
The dazzling Diane.
Hi.
And the magnanimous Maria.
Hello.
So welcome, ladies, and I hope you've got your opinions ready. So what do you guys actually think about fertility and the whole kind of topic? Do you want to have children? Is it like, no, run screaming?
It's really difficult, this topic, I think. I think it's really, really hard. Diane, stop laughing at me.
Having known Gemma, I actually think it would take something like explosive to change her mind.
She had a conversation with two people the other day about children, and she was like, "Oh well, maybe I might, you know." Do you remember that conversation?
I don't remember it, no.
But then when it gets to the point where she's like, nappies or shoes, nappies or shoes.
I was actually talking to a mother this morning. She's got two boys, and I think it's 6 and 7. And I said to her, when I think about children in general and I see them running around, I actually get mentally overwhelmed and exhausted.
Because it isn't like a walk in the park. I mean, Maria, you are the one that actually does have a child. I mean,
she's got children.
But then I think it's a personal choice. You know, I really think it's a personal choice. I mean, I understand Gemma when she says she doesn't want to have children. It's fine. It's a personal choice.
Yeah.
I want, so I have. Gemma doesn't want, Gemma doesn't have. It's really up to the individual.
Yeah.
No, I do agree it's up to the individual. I just think she's going to change her mind.
Okay. All right, so
I can agree with you also that Gemma might change her mind.
Watch this space, people, watch this space. So we're going to go to a quick video, and we're going to see Jennifer Lon and her street interviews, and we'll be right back to play our red card, green card game.
What age do you think is too old to have children?
I don't think there's any limitation for anybody to have children. Well, it depends biologically. If you can't have children, then it's... I don't know how to say, but I don't think we can limit the right for anybody to have children, because that's love.
Before having had a child, I would have lots of opinions on this, but having had my daughter recently, I understand how personal and special an experience it is, and I'd prefer not to comment on anyone else's circumstances or scenarios.
I think about 40 years old is kind of old, because women are meant to have kids around 20s, I believe. Well, you can give up some of the time in your 30s to make more money, make your life more stable, but after 40, I think it's kind of late.
Well, I don't think there's an age limit, but you kind of have to think of the child's needs and will you be there to see them through, you know, into their adulthood and things like that. But I don't think that there really should be a cut-off.
You think there should be laws on who can have children? Would you agree with that?
No, even like homosexual, they can still have children. That's what I think. They can adopt children if they want. It's all about love. It's not about any biological linkage.
No, not so much a law, but I think there needs to be more sort of a control over who can have children. Not to say one person can and one person can't, but it depends on the person's lifestyle, and if it doesn't suit raising a child, then I don't think they should have.
I think everyone has the right, it's a basic human rights to pass your genetics onwards, yeah.
If you personally couldn't have children, would you adopt or have fertility treatment?
Yeah, definitely will do. Yeah.
Either fertility or adopt,
any kind of method.
I would say, because you don't know the results of fertility treatment, so I would adopt, and it prolonged the issue probably even more if you try to fix it from, current medical perspective?
Yeah, well, I've always actually considered adoption more so than having my own, because I think that there's a lot of kids out there that need a stable family, and I kind of would feel like I could probably bring in a decent child, but I'd rather help another one out, really, yeah.
Okay, so now we just heard the people's views on the street, and now we're going to see the views of the lovely ladies in here. And you can also join in at home, and you can place the comments on the Facebook page to let us know what you think about this. So, are we ready, ladies?
Yeah,
and
ready.
As we know, it's red for no, green for yes. No in-betweens, not having no fences, thank you very much. So, should some women never have children? No. Okay, go on, Maria. All women should have children?
You said some.
Yes,
Okay.
some women never.
So some women...
You said some, so that's why I have my red card up.
Yeah, but that means you're saying that no.
I'm saying... Hold on a minute.
You're saying you
You
disagree
said
with
should some women never have children?
Yeah.
Right. I'm so sorry, but I misunderstood the question.
So did you want to talk that over?
But now I'm not really sure.
I said no fences.
Oh no, I'll just put the...
All right, someone who was maybe sure about that question, does someone want to elaborate? Why do we think that?
Some women are selfish.
Yeah, I was walking down the road yesterday, just for an example, and the way that I saw this lady deal with her child, it was shock, horror. It was everything. I was like, should I intervene? Should I, she wasn't equipped to have a child.
And sometimes people, I would say, I'd put times on it. So maybe you shouldn't have a child at this time. And I think if you want to have children, you really need to think about whether you're in a stable relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
If you're stable, because you're going to pass on your values, etc., to your kids. If you're in a stable relationship with somebody else, because that will affect the child. And you need to know if you financially can take this on. So I think if you feel like you're not stable or you never will be, you should really think about it before bringing a child into this world. Some women are just too selfish to have another child as well, and then it damages that child and then damages society.
Well, very deep. Wow.
She's very political, is
Okay, next question, ladies, cards at the ready. Do you think you should have a successful career before you have children? Oh, okay, Maria, yes, you should have a successful career before you have children. Why is that then?
I mean, I wouldn't totally say successful, but you should have a career. You should have something, because you're going to bring your children up, and what is the point of bringing children up, but then again, you cannot keep up with it? Of course, children are going to need things. They're going to need all the material things, shoes, uniforms, especially when they start to grow up. When they start to go to school. So I think it's very important for men or women to have that career, to have that financial, backup. Okay. It's very important.
I said no because for two reasons. Sometimes a child can actually make you strive to have a career because you want to better that child. I'll give an example. My niece, she's 32. She's got 3 children between the ages of 13 and 8. And her career's just lifted off now. So she had her children before her career started. So it can happen both ways. It's possible.
It can. I just think it's so difficult. I think for me personally, and I know there's a whole clock on it, I think you should do what you want for yourself, and then, because it's really hard, like, with the whole, you go on maternity leave, yes, and then depending on the company that you work for, depends on the benefits that you're going to get. But then also you need to think about childcare, you need to think about the cost of childcare, who's going to be picking up my children after work. Some people need to have flexi time. And then in the workplace, which I've seen with like the last workplace I used to work in, women who were between, like, say, late 20s and late 30s, sometimes, and I know this sounds really bad to say, sometimes employers would think twice about employing them because it's like they're just going to go on maternity leave, they're not for flexi time. If you want someone to really be dedicated, I'm not saying that mothers can't be dedicated, no way, but it's a really, really difficult, and if you have got support from family and friends, etc., to help you with your kids, then fine. If you haven't, you should really think about it. Because if you're the sort of person that you feel like, no, I want a career, and you're going to try to do both, juggling is very, very difficult, especially if you don't have support or the money to get the support.
Okay. All right, ladies. Next question. The AMH test, egg reserve test, costs £38, and it's said to tell you how many eggs you have left. Would you have taken it?
Looking back then, yes. I think especially that I did start my menopause extremely early.
Okay.
At the age of 29.
Wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
but however,
Wouldn't you have liked to have known that was going to happen though at 29?
Yes, it's definitely. So that's why for me, yes, it would definitely be a green card.
Do you not think that it might make some people push up their plans a bit earlier and maybe rush into relationships? So say, for example, if they were 25 and it said, look, there's a possibility you could go into early menopause at the age of 29 and they don't have a stable relationship, but they desperately want to have kids.
Yeah.
Could it not affect that?
It would definitely, it would make you panic. But I think that when you have the choice, then you can think, okay, can I freeze my eggs? What can I do? You look for options. And some people would go into a bad relationship or maybe stick into a relationship and, you know, get pregnant or what have you, just so that they can have the child. But I think there's nothing worse than when the choice is taken away from you. You just feel like you can't do anything about it.
But that's again like somebody, Gemma, you said you don't want to have children.
Yeah. I definitely want to know about it.
You're going to freeze some eggs though, Jen?
No, I want to know about it. I want to know the age that going into menopause.
Ladies, you're going to have to keep these views for later on because we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to Paul Serhal, and he's from the Centre for Reproductive and Genetic Health. So we'll hear what he has to say on the topic.
Suffering from a troubled past, then don't lose hope. There's always someone you can turn to. We understand, with all the challenges of everyday life, the financial responsibility, and the pressure of being a single parent, life can be overwhelming at times. Single parents and their children can flourish, but without the right support, a family can fall apart. The Tamar Group is there for lone parents who need guidance, support and encouragement to get them through their everyday battles. Whether it's a group discussion, a mother and child bonding session, or some personal advice, we are here for you. Everyone needs a helping hand at one point or another. Let us be yours. For more information on our meetings and where the nearest Tamar Group is to you, then visit our website uckg.org/Tamar or give us a call on 020 7686 6000.
My name is Dan from South London, 28, and I'm still single.
You're fighting for a career, you're fighting for different things in your life, you can travel, and then, you know, maybe they just feel like actually a relationship's not for me.
What the fashion is today is for you to be single and for you to live life and be happy and have many partners. I think marriage is a good thing, but I'm talking about on a global perspective.
Because he hasn't got that right person by his side, that he can't get to his full potential anyway.
Right.
Hello and welcome to Love Talk.
And basically it was just to meet the in-laws
get their trust. And, well, myself.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yes,
I'm actually happy for you.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me, right? That's how they say.
That's a good one.
Run away from temptation. Run. Then run another one.
This is so serious.
There is the right kind of honesty and the wrong kind of honesty.
Welcome back, and joining us in the studio now is Dr. Paul Serhal from the Centre of, I want to get this right, for Reproductive and Genetic Health. So welcome. Can I ask you what motivated you to start the centre?
Well, I mean, reproduction has always been a fascinating subject for me. And when you think about it, you got a little structure called the sperm penetrating a little structure called the egg, and then ending up with an embryo that goes on to produce a fully developed baby. So since my childhood, I've always been fascinated by this kind of phenomenon.
Okay.
And when I graduated, I thought the best way for me is to pursue my interest in this field, and it all started from there.
Okay. So how would somebody be referred to your centre or find out about this?
Well, the centre has been established for more than 20 years, so it's a very well-known centre in central London. We cater for every aspect of infertility, male and female, and of course we have also created a new entity that deals with genetic screening for cancer, predisposing gene, and all those other debilitating diseases. We can screen at the embryonic level and start the pregnancy knowing that the woman will not have a genetically affected child. So with this technique called pre-implantation genetic screening, we undertake a normal IVF treatment, but prior to transfer the embryo to the womb, we take a sample from this embryo and do the chromosome analysis of that embryo. So out of a cohort of 8 or 10 embryos, you'll be quite surprised. Sometimes I end up with one normal embryo, but that embryo that will give you the highest pregnancy because it's been screened for all these abnormalities such as Down syndrome, etc., etc. Wow. So it is a technique that has enabled women in their late 30s, early 40s to fight this dragon called biological aging of the egg.
Yes. Yes. It's scary, isn't it? Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So, why do you think it's important for women to have their own children?
Well, I think it's a basic biological need. It's something instinctive. Women were not meant to be businesswomen or career women. They were meant to be reproduced in the jungle through evolution. Men and women moved on from being the sperm provider and the woman carrying the pregnancy to become kind of city workers. So it is a basic need. It's an instinctive need. In fact, gestating a pregnancy of a woman is so important. It's part and parcel of her raison d'être. This is what women should do, reproduce. So if someone is denied this basic right, you can understand the frustration
so
and the anger around
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, sorry, this for some of our ladies, it might be, So, but so women, if they want to, though, it's possible for them to say, actually, I don't want to I want to fight against that. That's not my natural need. I don't actually want children. I want to be that businesswoman. I want to be that city woman, as it were. Because I don't know if that's for everybody.
Well, there are some women who like not to have children. I have to say that this is rather the minority rather than the majority. The vast majority of our patients are very anxious. And of course, when you look at the demographics, you look at the way things are, because of the pressure of society, etc., we now have an increased number of women who don't have a partner, age 35 plus, coming to consider egg freezing. It would have been unthinkable a few years ago to freeze egg because the technology wasn't there. But now there's a wonderful technique called vitrification. You have a problem here, you're 35, you're a career woman, you don't have a partner, do you leave your career, do you consider having children? Of course, freezing eggs is not going to be the guarantee you're going to have children, but give them this mental reassurance that they've done something positive, and you never know, eventually they might have to use those eggs.
That's important,
That's a very,
knowing that you've got options. Definitely.
So, Doctor, if there's any of our viewers out there struggling to conceive, is there anything dietary-wise that they can do, or is it just all genetic?
Well, I don't like this notion of a fertility diet. We rather call it a balanced, healthy diet. That's the bottom line. I think this is very important because there is no such thing as a particularly kind of suited diet for women who are infertile. Having said that, there has to be a lot of lifestyle adjustment. Weight, for example, underweight or overweight is an important issue, and this has a direct impact on conception. Smoking, excessive drinking or drinking, these are some lifestyle adjustment that has to be done in preparation for pregnancy. Pre-pregnancy counseling now is becoming the norm. If there's history of diabetes in the family or certain history that could be predictive of some problem, it is normal now for women to seek pre-pregnancy counseling. But by and large, a healthy diet and some lifestyle adjustment is all what is needed in order to achieve a healthy pregnancy.
Things that we should kind of be doing every day to live a balanced life, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
So can I ask, what are your views on contraceptives? I mean, does that kind of have any effect on women's fertility down the line? Because I know that it's more prevalent, obviously, that ladies are using a lot more different forms of contraception.
This misconception that taking oral contraceptive or contraceptive for a long period of time can impact on fertility. That's simply not true. Because women are born with a finite number of eggs, and nothing can diminish this egg reserve except the natural process. The process within the ovary is called programmed cell death or apoptosis. So a set number of eggs will perish every month, whatever you do, whether you take the contraceptive pill or not. So I think one has to be very careful in not to kind of scare patient as to not take contraception, because that has no impact whatsoever on fertility.
Good to know.
I've got a question. I'd like to know, what's the difference between IVF and egg sharing?
Well, egg sharing is IVF. The only thing is that some women cannot afford paying for private IVF treatment. So the regulation is such that if you're altruistic by nature, you could donate half of your eggs to some other couple who are keen to have a child, and that other couple can assist financially in having the treatment. So it's mainly to do with a small subset of patients who literally cannot afford having fertility treatment. They've had their go on the NHS, they didn't get pregnant, and they would like to have a child, so they get financial help for some women who are in need of egg donation.
Wow.
Okay, so now that, I mean, things like IVF and egg sharing are obviously brilliant medical advances, and we know that things are happening all the time. Like I saw in the news recently about 3-parent babies becoming a possibility. So, but how long does it take to develop these things? So from when it's developed, say, in a lab, to when somebody could expect to be able to be a patient of that procedure? Yeah,
this is called translational research. So obviously everything starts by going through the rigorous phase of being researched and to ensure that it is effective, it is safe. It depends very much on the type of treatment. For example, freezing of eggs, the technique was made available just few years ago, and clinics all over the world adopted this technique because it's robust, it is safe, and it was a very short period of time before clinic adopted it. If you take the 3-parent kind of baby story to prevent mitochondrial diseases, that's going to take a long time to be applied clinically, because there's a lot of homework to be done before you can use it routinely on a clinical basis.
I'd like to ask, it's quite a personal question, what do you think is the age that women should start to think about egg freezing, or what are my options, etc.?
That's the most difficult question for clinicians to address. Is that obviously as a fertility specialist, I'd like women to have their baby before they're 35, because after 35, fertility starts declining. It's not, of course, an abrupt drop, but nevertheless, it's an important landmark. So I believe that women between 35 plus are quite entitled, and I think should probably be encouraged to consider egg freezing, because it's a method that is robust, that can produce children, and it gives them this peace of mind that it's like taking an insurance policy. Okay. Of course, you can only bank so much on a set number of eggs, but nevertheless, it gives them this peace of mind they've done something positive that could eventually be beneficial to them.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it quite a straightforward process? Because I mean, well, I'm a couple of years off 35. So I mean, it's like, is it a relatively straightforward process? Because it's things that like we hear about, but it's like,
how do you do it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it effectively going through the same drill as if you're having IVF treatment. So the woman will have to go through a series of injection period of 10 days, and they have the eggs collected. Obviously, it's much simpler than IVF because you're just collecting egg and you're freezing them. Okay. So it's pretty straightforward. Within 12, 13 days, it's all done and dusted.
Wow. And about how long do they kind of stay?
Well, I mean, they biologically, there is no shelf life, as it were. Okay. So, but legally, you ask the patient to sign for up to 10 years, which can be extended in the future. I mean, they have the option to extend. They can decide to freeze it for as long as they want, provided they have to use it before they're 50 or 55.
So I was going to say, what's the cut-off? So about 50. Okay.
Wow. What would you say is the most common treatment for fertility, or does it just depend on the individual?
Well, it depends, of course, on the individual. By and large, the treatment for fertility has improved dramatically in the last few years. And of course, the mainstay remains IVF, which gives you a very robust pregnancy rate, provided that the patient come to treatment within a reasonable age.
Okay, wow, that's really good. A lot to think about.
I mean, when women are struggling to conceive, is there a common experience they share?
It can be quite distressing, and some women become so emotive. They turn towards comfort eating, so they gain weight and becomes a vicious circle because obesity also contributes to subfertility. So it's very distressing to patients. Hence the importance of counseling for women who have difficulty getting pregnant. They need someone to comfort them. Yeah. This is nothing to do with the medical side. It's to do with their anxiety, with their apprehension of not ever having the possibility of having a child. And the worst thing for women who have difficulty getting pregnant is bumping into friend or family relation with their children or their babies, and that can be very distressing, very, very distressing, and very few people appreciate that, unfortunately. So people don't have the sensitivity to handle such patients with a bit of common sense, as it were.
Well, thank you so much for coming today. I think we've all learned quite a bit, and it sounds like you offer such a well-rounded service for ladies at your clinic. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we are going to go to another short break, and we'll be back after this with fertility massage. Intrigued? Stay tuned.
Forgiving the person who betrayed you can be tough, and it can almost always leave a scar. The scar that remains from an abusive past can affect your future in so many ways. There are various forms of abuse, the seen and the unseen. We understand your pain because we have been through it ourselves. If you or someone you know is a victim of any form of abuse, help is available. Rehab. Removing all hurt and abuse. We won't pretend it never happened, but our aim is to help you heal the wounds of the past so that you can build a happy future. We'll listen, we'll advise, we'll be your shoulder to cry on. It's free, confidential, and we're just a phone call away. For more information, call 0207 686 6000 or visit our website uckg.org/rehab.
So welcome back. Before the break, we were talking to Dr. Paul Serhal about all things to do with fertility and egg freezing, so many different things. And now we're looking at something even, what's to say, quite as interesting, I've never heard of before, fertility massage. So joining me, I've got Lorna Blackham. Have I said that right? Blackham? Yeah. And you're an osteopath and a fertility massage practitioner. Now, I've never heard of it before. Okay. What is fertility massage?
So fertility massage is a massage which is done directly over the reproductive system. It's very holistic treatment. Okay. It takes about an hour usually.
Okay, well we haven't got an hour. No. For our Diane. I've never heard of this before, so how long has it been practiced or been done?
It's fairly new. It's just been founded really recently by Claire Blake. Okay. She's just started teaching it. She's just going global with it now, just about to start teaching in Australia. So really the amount of practitioners is just starting to boom now.
Okay, so what is the whole purpose of it? What does it actually do?
So to encourage the blood flow, so we really want to start releasing some of the tissues, relaxing off the muscles, ligaments, fascia, that's all around the area. Okay. This helps with the blood flow and it helps with congestion in the area, with the neural nerve input. Okay. Working on the back is because the nerves that supply the digestive system and the reproductive system exit from the back, and also the sacrum as well, which is your lower part of your back, your tailbone. Okay. And this helps to bring circulation again, nourish the tissues, and also if you've got good circulation, then you've got good hormone delivery, which is vital for fertility. And doing the massage on the digestive system really helps with getting the peristalsis going, which is what you want to encourage the best nutrient absorption. And also a lot of the immune system resides in the digestive tract.
Okay, you said that, I've got to say it again,
peristalsis, so it's the movement of the gut, right? Okay. As it puts all the the food through your colon, your small intestines. Okay, it's the movement.
Okay, so you're going to be demonstrating on our lovely Diane here today. So as you are doing it, because we're not going to be able to see all of her stomach, if you talk us through exactly what it is that you'll be doing. So if you want to get into position. And we haven't got an hour for you, Diane, but we are going to listen and you are going to experience it. And I think that it's written in the clause that if this works, we get to film the childbirth as well. I'm joking. Okay, go ahead, Laura. Okay. So what's that you're putting on her stomach?
So this is massage wax.
Okay. Oh, massage wax. I've never heard of that. Massage oil I've heard of.
Yeah, that's a solid form. So really you start off by just doing some gentle relaxing massage, because it's an area of your body which you're not really used to having touched.
Diane, you haven't got a microphone on, but how does it feel? And I can kind of like say so.
It feels quite relaxing actually. I thought it was going to tickle me, but I'm very ticklish, but it's not tickling me at all.
So it's quite relaxing, not tickling. So when is normally like the best time for this kind of treatment? Is there a best time, or can it be done any time?
So the best time really is if you're actively trying to conceive. You really got to have it after menstruation and before ovulation. So this is a quite short window of time. Okay. So what we do in a fertility massage session is we teach people how to do the self-massage on themselves, so they can really make the most of that time.
Okay. So how many times in that short window should this be done?
Well, I'd recommend having at least one from a fertility massage practitioner, and then maybe doing it on yourself every day up until ovulation. Okay. So during a session of fertility massage, you'll also get taught how to chart your own ovulation.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? I haven't got my mic on, but maybe Lisa, you can ask.
So yeah, Diane's going to ask a question, and I'll be able to help that.
After this, the massage treatment, what's the percentage of people actually conceiving?
Okay, good question. So after the treatment, yeah, what's the percentage of people then that conceive?
I think it's not a guarantee that you're going to conceive. It's more to aid fertility.
Okay.
What we're doing is encouraging blood supply. You want to improve the environment really to optimise the chances rather than guaranteeing a pregnancy.
So is it people that are struggling to conceive, or just people that just generally want to conceive that come and see you?
Yeah, wanting to conceive, it can be preconceptual care.
Okay.
So ideally, I mean, having 3 months really before you actively try and conceive, you're really getting the body ready to have a baby, to, you know, being able to optimise the environment for a fetus, for a baby. And also with, sorry, I forgot what it was.
I was going to say, it's something that you use in conjunction with other kind of therapies. So I think, like as we spoke to the doctor earlier, so about a balanced diet, looking after yourself.
It's really key to see a nutritional therapist, naturopath, and maybe even a herbalist as well. I'd recommend changing your lifestyle. Depends on each individual and how they're living, really. Okay.
So now, what is it? I mean, is there the method that you're using? I mean, is it kind of? Do you want to like kind of say what it is exactly that it is you're doing?
Okay.
Where you're massaging now.
So at the moment, I'm massaging and sort of stretching.
You're quite deep into
it. It can be a deep massage, stretching into the diaphragm. This is really important because if you can breathe properly into the abdomen, then you're getting a good pumping action, which is good for circulation and drawing out any congestion in the area.
Another question. Am I meant to be feeling something happening on the inside?
Okay, so Diane, for our viewers at home, is just asking, is she meant to be feeling something happening on the inside?
No, not necessarily. Some people experience gurgling as you're going over the abdomen. But otherwise,
not good. But it does look very relaxing. Is it relaxing, Diane?
Yeah, it's quite relaxing. There was a time when she moved over one part of my body where I felt excruciating pain. And I don't know if that's because this on the inside needs to be released or something.
Would that be because if you're doing some kind of like deep tissue massage, sometimes you can kind of...
It could be caused by some tightness in the area, so muscle, ligaments, sometimes history of scar tissue as well that can cause pain.
Okay.
Usually get feedback as you do the massage to make sure
that
the client's comfortable, really.
Okay, so about how long does a massage normally? I think you said an hour.
Yeah, so it takes about an hour, and you start off really normally on the back, so you massage the back and over the sacrum area, and get some movement going through there with different techniques like pulsing. And
like there where your hand is now, where are you at?
In there.
Yeah.
So this is just inside your pelvis, really, over near the ovary area. But there's lots of connective tissue, so it's quite tender, is it?
Very.
Okay.
Okay, Diane is saying that bit is very tender.
Pressure a bit better.
Yeah, it's not. It's like there's a pain going. It's not the same. Doesn't feel the same on the left as it does on the right.
Okay. Yeah. What you can get is sometimes the womb's in a non-optimum position, so it can be retroverted, anteroverted. So that's backwards or forwards.
Okay.
And also to the sides, and this can put pressure, tightness around all the ligaments and everything that's holding it in place.
So have you had any of your your clients that have had this to come back and said that they have then conceived?
Yeah, recently actually somebody's announced that they've become pregnant.
Oh wow! Yeah. So what, I don't know, maybe we could get a child named after you, a middle name or something like that. We'll definitely let you know how our Diane gets on, that's for sure. Okay, so thank you very much for that. It was all very interesting. As I said, we'll let you know how Diane gets on. So we hope that you learned something new today. Now what we're going to do is going to watch our Inspire Me video. So have a look at this.
Because of family problems that I had growing up as a child, I didn't get along with my mum. We used to argue a lot, and through this I felt very isolated. I started running away from home at a very young age, raving at the age of 12 years old, just doing things like, you know, being disobedient to my parents, didn't want to listen to nobody. And through this I got involved with the wrong crowd. I was drinking alcohol nearly every day, stealing it as well from my mum. This developed into me just rebelling. And then through that, I had many children. I had 13 children in total. I started smoking crack cocaine at the age of 18, 19. I didn't care about myself, I didn't care about my family, my children. Through the addiction, I lost my house, I lost my children. My children was removed from my care. Some of them got adopted, 4 of them got adopted, was taken away from me. 25 years of addiction, I had enough. And today, I'm free, I'm happy. I no longer have that desire to smoke, to drink, to prostitute myself. And I have a relationship with my children now. My son is in the church today as well, and I'm very happy.
Uplifting, diverse, vibrant, dynamic,
powerful, youthful, informative,
energizing, passionate,
motivational, freedom, lively,
excitement.
This is your UCKG timetable. We are open 7 days a week, helping you to make a new beginning. Monday, a meeting focused on achieving more in your financial life. Tuesday, prayers for healing. Wednesday, a meeting teaching you to develop in your spiritual life. Thursday, a special prayer for the family. Friday, a service for your spiritual deliverance. Saturday, Find the One, a service specifically tailored for your love life. Sunday, Reconnect with God, the main meeting for your spiritual strength.
with you.
It's lovely to have you in the studio with me. I'm rather excited.
Does character matter?
If you're married, you shouldn't be flirting with somebody else on that.
Forward back. Forward back. Roll on the knee.
Relationships and money, can the two really work?
Absolutely.
I think that appearance is important.
How do you define character?
Yeah.
And you want to have that perfect house, but you've got to realise everything happens at the right time.
I've got a friend who puts all her business on Facebook, and I just can't stand to read it.
You're learning already. Do you cook at home?
Yes, I cook.
Mr. Right is just right under your nose.
You get a checklist, but that checklist becomes a shopping list.
But in life, sometimes it's good to be different.
Do the maths. Changing your life is not as simple as changing your hairstyle, your shirt, or rearranging the furniture in your living room. You're talking about years of deep-rooted habits, behaviours and problems that are not going to change overnight. Many may say, think positively, but the trouble with that is that you can't do or change anything with just thoughts. But add action into the equation and the outcome can be different. Let's do the maths. Positive thinking plus action equals a change. Whatever it is, if the change is significant, if it's worthwhile, then it will have to take time, effort and homework from you.
So welcome back to the final part of the show. We've discussed so much and seen quite a bit.
I look now and I see so many older people in their 50s and 60s that's got more energy than a 22-year-old. So I think there's a bit of, bias there.
I mean, obviously, I'm not saying they should have it in their 20s, like come out of school and having babies or anything like that, or even in the 20s. But there is an age where you just start to think to yourself, my gosh, I'm hitting 50 now, so do I still have the same energy? Do I really want to go through this? Yeah. And of course, there's, you may be even going through the menopause, as we've spoken about before, and you're going through all the mood swings, you're going through all that, and you don't even know what's happening to your body is all over the place, So, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking like, oh gosh, I'm so exhausted, I can't be bothered with all that. Yeah. But how the body's working at the time, because our body changes all the time.
Because the average age of the menopause is 51, as we know, and it's like your body's kind of saying, okay, we're shutting down shop now, if you know what I mean. And I have a huge issue with people having children like at 60 or 70. Yeah, that is a massive issue for me, because when I see it in the newspapers, I get annoyed, and I'm glad they're in the minority, because I just feel like, okay, maybe you do have bags of energy, but the truth is your lifespan is very short. We could all die tomorrow. I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. Do you see what I mean? I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, when that child is 10 and you're going to be 70, what can you really give that child in terms of quality of life? And why do you
I do agree with what you're saying, but I think there's a lot of 70-year-old women that would disagree with you. I do think that, if you're going to have a child at 60 and when they're 10, you're going to be 70, it's kind of cutting board. I do agree with what you're saying. I can see your point of view. But that woman who has all that energy that, didn't go through that bad side of the menopause, because not everybody has those, symptoms that you were speaking about. It's just, some ladies do.
But then, for example, if she's gone through the menopause and she's done something to now, like, external to make herself have these children, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, not everybody can be in a situation or the relationship that they want to have children, but I just feel like, goodness, isn't it a little bit selfish for you to now have children at 60 or 70 years old?
Okay, what happens when a young mum dies and they've had a child and their mother is still alive, older, and they end up bringing up that child?
It's an unfortunate circumstance.
Totally different from carrying.
But I actually know as well. Yes, carrying that child.
And carrying.
But that is so unfortunate. I actually know someone in that situation right now, and quite close to me, family, and the grandmother is acting as the mother, because the mother didn't die but she had to go away. But the fact is, she doesn't want to be in that situation, number one, because she is going through the menopause, and having these young kids are literally taking out all her energy, and she thought, I've had my kids, I've done it, I won't have to do it. But because of circumstances, she's had to force herself to do it. But does she like it? Does she enjoy it? Does she have the energy for it? She was so much better off when she was having her kids, because she made that choice. So now that choice has been forced upon her, yes. So she has to do it. But she's saying it's not ideal. If she could choose again, she'd never be in that situation.
Yeah, I think it's like...
you can't run in the park with those children at 70 or 80 or whatever.
There's
I'm sorry.
70-years that can.
Yeah, but then... And also,
I just want to be controversial.
And that child is going to be picked on at school as well, because it's like, oh, has your gran come to collect you? No, that's my mum. Look, it's really difficult.
No, because you're brandishing everybody with the same brush that at 70 you're wrinkled and you've got a walking stick. It doesn't have to be like that.
Did you see a picture of Jada Pinkett Smith's mum?
Thank you.
Yeah,
I actually wanted to bring her into that.
Why? Because she had Jada at a very young age, and now Jada's doing it for herself, and she's been having treatment. She's fine.
All right, ladies. Okay. I think we can see there's different points of view here. Let me ask you about something else that we didn't really get a chance to touch on, and that's about adoption. Because we know that, you know, people are doing so much today to try to turn back Mother Nature and do different things to advance things, which is a great thing. I'm totally not saying that. But there are lots of kids who, by different situations, have found themselves wanting a family, needing a family. So do you think that that maybe should be something that people should consider?
Definitely.
Like adoption and doing something to help a child that doesn't have anyone else.
Going back to these 60-year-olds, for instance, if that 60-year-old could adopt a 10-year-old, right, that would be much better, I think, because a lot of people want to adopt babies, and we all can't get the little baby and then grow them up and so on, but there's so many children that need a good home. So if you do feel like, because I don't feel that you should have children for yourself necessarily anyway, for your own selfish reasons, because I want to be happy, because I want them to take care of me when I'm older. I think you should have a child to nurture someone else to be a great human being, and you can give that opportunity to someone who's adopted, because, you know, again, you could have had that kid at 50.
That's a great thing.
If you really want to give, you know, a good home and so on, and happiness, etc., and you are 60 and you've taken a 10-year-old, it's going to be very difficult, but at least you're doing something for someone else who's already here, rather than trying to start with a brand new newborn. And
then I'm also going to play kind of like devil's advocate in that when you have a child and it, you know, naturally you've given birth to a child, and that child then happens to have behavioural problems or disabilities, things like that, I think that most of the time that kind of unconditional love kicks in as it's supposed to. But what if you are taking on an 8, 9, 10-year-old that has those issues already established, and now you've kind of got to do that whole unconditional love to somebody that necessarily wasn't your own? Do you not think that can kind of play on people's minds?
I think if you're going to take on that responsibility, it's something that you really actually want to do.
Yeah.
You know, you've thought about it before you've actually took that step. You know,
you need to be emotionally ready.
I don't think, I don't think, you know, if someone is going to really adopt, I don't think they should, oh, look, this poor child, you know, nobody wants this child, so let me take this child on. But I don't think that's something that, you know, you could use emotion with. You have to really go into it. Either, I'm going to take this child on, I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm going in for, and okay, fine. But and you cannot put emotion in there, because otherwise the person's going to end up regretting it.
So before, because we're coming to the end of the show now, and I just wanted to ask each of you quickly, have any of your opinions maybe changed from the beginning of the show to now, or is there something final that you want to say about fertility? And
before I go into my final point, I never thought that parents could love an adopted child the same as their own child. But I think that is possible. I think the more time you spend with a child, the more you grow to love that child. So it does become like your flesh and blood almost. You know what I mean? And my only final thought would be that I think every woman's different, and every woman has the power to choose what she wants. If she decides not to have children, then that's fine, and people should accept that. If she decides that she does want to have children, even if you are 60 or 70 and you feel that you can do it, I don't agree with it, but you know, you can do that. And I just think that every woman has the power to choose, and everybody around her should accept her. And if she feels like, do you know what, I don't want to have kids, or I do want to have kids, I think people need to support her as well, you know, and I think that's all I've got to say about it.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we're all entitled to our own opinions, but it's a personal thing. You know, if, you know, menopause is starting from 50 or whatever, but that you can still conceive at 50. And if that woman is still, you know, capable of conceiving and she decides that she wants a child, then that's her choice.
Yeah.
Maria?
Well, as I always say, it's an individual choice. It's up to the person. Gemma, I mean, I couldn't put it any better, really. It's something that, if that's what you want, go for it. No one can criticize you. No one can judge you. No one can say anything. Go for it.
Because whatever decision you decide to live with,
someone's going to criticize you
someone's
anyway.
going to criticize, and you're the one that's going to have to sacrifice. If I decide not to have children, then I maybe have to sacrifice not having that massive family.
Why should you do something just to please somebody else?
Exactly. You've got to make the personal choice.
Well, thank you, ladies, for all those wonderful opinions. And for you guys at home, I think the ladies have pretty much said it. At the end of the day, it's your body, your choice. You have to be able to make the decision that's best for your life, and not just because what society, what parents, what friends, what other people have decided to put pressures on you. Because to have a child, it's not just for Christmas, it's not just to dress up. It's for life. And like, I love what Gemma said about having a child to make them a great human being, not to make you happy, not just for your reasons, because when that child is acting up, you still have to look after that child. You have to be the one to nurture them through the good and the bad. And so if you are out there now and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I still don't know what to do, or maybe I've made the wrong decisions to do with having children, you can ask for help. There is no situation that is not unchangeable. It can still be rescued. And if you do want to know how can I do this, then please feel free to get in contact with us. Again, I want to thank all my guests, Lorna for the fertility massage, Dr. Paul Sir Howe, and all his wonderful revelations, and for the lovely ladies here on the sofa, thank you so much, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.